Hey you guys, in this video we're going to draw a Cybercorn. Before we start, I want to give you a quick preview of how our drawings turned out. I hope you're really excited to follow along with me. For this lesson you need a pencil and an eraser. We're going to use that to draw the main shapes, really just to draw a horse or the alicorn with the horn and also the wings. And then we use our black marker to add the cyber details or the robotic details, the extra lines and the cool machine parts. Then we're also using our alcohol-based markers to color, but you could use something different like colored pencils or even oil pastels. All right, let's get started. Let's start with our pencil and we're gonna draw the main shapes for our robot unicorn, alicorn. We're gonna draw a circle over here for the head. I'm gonna draw it this big. And I'm drawing it off to the left so that we have room for the body on the right. I'm gonna draw it just a bit bigger so we can fill up our paper more. And the nice part about using the pencil, like we've mentioned before, you can work on this step and get the shape just the way you want it, the size you want it, and where you want it on the paper. You can make it smaller or bigger, it's up to you. But you could pause the video and take that extra time. Okay, now let's draw the bottom of the head coming out to the left. And then we're gonna draw right about halfway up. We're gonna draw the nose or snout coming down and then connecting to the bottom. Then we're gonna draw the neck coming down from the circle, and we can draw a short part of the neck or the back of the neck here. Then let's draw the body coming out past this way. And we could draw, I'm gonna draw this curving like that. And then we're gonna draw it coming back up to the right. And then over here, we could draw a big circle to connect the top or the back down to the bottom. Now let's draw the legs. We're gonna draw one coming down. I'm going to draw an oval for the top of the leg. Then we're going to draw it coming straight down on both sides, the front and also the back. Then down here we can draw it connecting. And then let's draw that same size leg for the left side. So we're going to measure the distance right here across the leg and try to create that same width, and then we'll connect it here. So we've got these cool rectangle shapes with an oval at the top. Okay, for the back leg, let's draw an oval. I'm going to draw here, and then I'm going to shorten the body so that it matches with the leg. You don't want to make it too long. Then we're going to draw this curving to the right, and then we can draw a short line out here. Then we're going to draw the front and the back. And we want this distance back here too. So we just measure it and try to guess so that we get that shape. Okay, now let's erase this extra line that we changed. You can also erase the body or the circle for the back of the body. Yeah, this is looking really cool. I still think that the body's a little long, but that's okay. We'll just keep going. Now we can draw the other leg behind. So we're going to draw this curve right here matching over here. Then we can draw it coming forward. I'm going to draw the back first, so that gives me this distance, and then we'll go up to match. Yeah, we got 4 legs now, and they all look like they kind of match in the width. Because the body is a little bit longer, I think I'm going to make the legs longer too. And that's called proportion. So with our pencil, we can really work on the proportion of our drawing and get the shapes the right size. And when you get all the shapes together, you might want to change the size of the shapes to change the proportion. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to leave that pencil line on there because it kind of looks like the hooves or the feet for our unicorn or alicorn. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay, now let's draw more shapes. We're going to draw an ear up here. And let's draw the unicorn horn. Draw it kind of thick. And then we can draw a curve here. And then we can draw the hair or the mane. we're going to draw a diagonal line here, and then we can draw it going through the ear. We're going to come all the way down, and then we can stop there. So we've got this cool curve going through the ear. Then we can draw the other ear right here. Cool. Okay, now let's draw the wing. We're just going to draw the basic shape. We'll draw a diagonal line coming out. Then we'll come further to the right. Then we'll come back down and then in. I'm going to draw a little line, diagonal line there. So we got this cool diamond shape. And then let's also draw the tail. We're going to draw it curving out. And then let's draw the other side of the tail, curving down further, but away from it. Maybe right at the end, we could also curve the other way. And then I'm just going to connect it. And there we go. There's all of the main shapes for our Cybercorn. It looks really cool, except we're going to put our pencil off to the side. Now we're ready to switch to our marker. We're going to add the details and really turn it into a robot Alicorn. Okay, let's start with the horn. And we're going to start by just tracing the outside, or tracing on the guidelines that we already drew. And then let's add details. We're going to add little curves going up the horn. I'm going to add 3. Cool. Okay, now let's draw the top of the head. I'm going to draw it here, connecting to the horn. We don't want to go through the horn. We're just going to imagine it coming out. We'll trace over the pencil line, and we can stop there. Then let's go ahead and trace over the guidelines here too. Now let's come back up here. We can draw the ear. I want to make it stick out just a little past the mane, and we'll come back down. Let's add the inside of the ear next. We can draw that same shape, and then I'm going to connect the bottom. Okay, then let's come back over here. We're going to draw the rest of the head. I'm going to make it a little smaller, so I'm inside of that guideline. Then we're going to draw it coming all the way forward for the bottom of the mouth. Okay, now let's add more details to turn it into a robot. I'm going to start here, draw a diagonal line coming across the snout, and then we'll come down, and then the eyebrow. And then let's draw the eye next. We can just draw an oval shape, and I'm going to draw part of it so that it's underneath the eyebrow. And we're making our Cybercorn angry. And then right here, let's make it more 3D by drawing another curve that matches this one. Then we'll curve down. We can also add a diagonal line for the mouth and a nostril. Oh, let's add another detail right here, a diagonal line in front of the horn. Then we'll go across the forehead, and then we'll go up, over, and connect to the ear. Yeah, now it's looking more robotic. Let's draw a detail here, and then connect down to the jaw. And one more on the cheek. We'll draw a diagonal line, and then a curve coming down to the jaw. Okay, now let's switch to the neck. I'm going to trace over the pencil line here and also on the back of the neck. And then let's add a little diagonal line coming down to the right, and then we'll connect to the back of the neck. Then let's add some robot lines. I'm going to draw a short line here. Then we'll draw the letter V, kind of like we did for the down here. And then we can connect those together. I'm going to add a little dot and also another line. Okay, now let's switch to the mane, and we can make this look really cool too. I'm going to trace over this line. Then we'll connect to the ear, and don't draw through the ear. We're going to come over, imagine it going past. Then let's add some details. I'm going to connect it into the head. Then we'll draw another line coming out to the pencil. Then we'll go back in. Then here, instead of tracing over the pencil, we'll come in further and then draw the detail connecting there. Then we can add more lines to make it more like a mane. Oh, maybe one more in here. And then let's add more robotic details here. We could draw a little stepped in piece and then a smaller one and one last one right at the end. Oh, and the ear. Nice. Now we got the head all done and the neck and also the mane. Let's keep going. Let's work on the legs next. Let's do the first leg. We're going to draw this first shape. I'm going to trace over the oval, and I kind of made it bigger to make it stronger. Then I'm going to connect here for the shoulder joint. Let's add an oval. Maybe this part is glowing. You can add another one inside. That makes it look more like a hinge or a joint. Then I'm going to draw two lines coming down, but they're inside the pencil lines. Next, let's connect those together. And I'm going to go past on both sides. Then we'll come down further. I'm going to come down kind of shorter on the front and then all the way down on the back. Next, for the hoof or the foot, I'm going to draw just a little foot coming forward, and then we'll connect to the back. All right, let's add a lot more details. I'm going to draw this coming down to the bottom. We'll connect there. And let's add another line. And we need more of these little dots or rivets. Okay, I went kind of fast, so if you need to, you could pause the video to match my same details, but you could also change it and add different details if you want. Now let's switch to the chest, and I'm going to draw a short diagonal line coming out, then down, and then we'll connect it into the leg. Okay, now because we got that line in there, we can finish this leg. So I'm going to draw a little bump right here for that first shoulder piece. Then we're going to look at this leg and try to match it. So I'm going to draw those two short lines. Then we'll connect. Then a short line down and a long line in the back. Then we'll add the little foot and connect it at the bottom. Then we'll draw curving down, connect. Then we got this rectangle shape. Well, I drew it taller. Let's change. We can add this one taller and then add an extra line there so it matches. And then we got the little rivet and the short line down. Let's keep going. We're going to draw the wing. Let's draw over the pencil line up to the right and further over. Then we'll trace down, but just a short ways. Then we'll repeat that first line right next to it. And then down here, I'm going to draw connecting there. Okay, we could also draw some extra robot details. Okay, now let's add little feathers or mechanical feathers. I'm going to draw these rectangle shapes coming out of the wing. Let's add one here too. This one's smaller. And then maybe just one more that's really small at the bottom. Oh, and I don't know, right here we'll just connect it. We can connect it here too. There's the wing. That was nice and simple. You could add more things. You could also make these wings really big if you wanted to. Then we can draw this short line connecting to the wing, and then we're going to draw the back. We'll just curve it all the way down and we'll stop there on the leg. We can also draw the belly too. I left a little space because I'm going to make this leg stronger. We're going to start here. We'll curve around and then come back in. Now let's add another joint or hinge like we did over here. We can match it. Let's also add another hinge here. And then we can connect these in. So I'm going to draw this connecting and that connecting. And then we can add more robot details by drawing some lines, extra lines inside. I'm gonna add a little dot. Now let's also draw the bottom part of the leg to match the front part. And it's okay if it's a little different, but we'll try to match it close. So I'm gonna draw the short front and a longer back. Then we can draw the little foot part and connect to the back. Then we'll draw it coming down, connect here. Then let's draw that rectangle shape with that extra line and a rivet. Yeah, that looks awesome. Okay, let's repeat that over here. I'm gonna draw this curve. Then we can draw a circle for the hinge. Then let's draw short, long, the foot part, the rectangle, and the little rivet. Okay, now let's draw the tail. And we can keep this simple. We'll just draw the outside first, then the inside. Then let's draw 2 more lines that match, but they're inside of the tail. And let's draw a diagonal line here to connect, and there. I'm gonna curve this further, and then we'll come up to there. Yeah, that looks really cool. Okay, I think we're missing a few more details inside the body. We gotta add more robot panels. I'm gonna add letter V shape here. Then we can draw a diagonal line or curve coming down. Let's add 2 lines connecting the legs together. And I'm gonna draw a curve here. And then we'll connect under the belly. So I made that round to make it more 3D. And then we can do another round one here. And one more. There we go. And let's color it. This part we'll fast forward, but at the end you can pause the video again to match my coloring. But before we do that, let's switch to our eraser and erase any of the pencil lines you can still see. All right, I'm all finished coloring, and I hope you'll take time to color your drawings too. I used a medium gray and a dark gray for the body, and then also light blue and purple for the details. You can also use darker grays to add shadows and a shadow down here at the bottom to make it look more 3D. Even though your drawings may look different than mine, I'm sure they turned out awesome. The most important thing is to have fun and to practice, and we'll see you later, our friends. Goodbye.